You know how sometimes you have a conversation with a complete stranger in the most ordinary place, like a coffee shop, and it just completely shifts your whole perspective? Well, that's what we're digging into today. It's a story about how a chance encounter can turn into this powerful beacon of insight, one that shows us how we actually create our own reality. So let's get into it. Okay, so to really get the power of this story, we first have to set the stage. And that stage is the humble coffee shop. You might not think about it much, but its role in our lives has changed a lot. I mean, just look at this. It's night and day, right? Back in the 17th century, coffee houses were the original social networks. They were these buzzing hubs for debate, for connection, for real intellectual back and forth. And today? Well, they're often just places of quiet isolation. We're all sitting there surrounded by people, but we're totally insulated by what the author perfectly calls an illusory veil of I-don't-know-you-ness. We're all together, but we're completely alone. So this brings up a really fascinating question, doesn't it? How could a coffee shop today, on purpose, break through that wall of isolation? What kind of signal would it have to send out to bring in people who are looking for something more than just a shot of espresso? Well, our story happens in this little cottage cafe with the perfect name, Conscious Cravings. And this is where we meet the person who became its living, breathing beacon. Yeah, this wasn't just any cafe. That name alone, Conscious Cravings, it was almost like a filter, you know? It seemed to draw on a certain kind of person, someone who was maybe searching for a little more awareness, a little more real connection. And this is where the author's journey really kicks off. The person who changes everything is a woman named Allie. And Allie is the kind of person you just can't ignore. She loves to talk, she laughs all the time, and loudly. The author quickly figured out that, hey, putting down this book and actually talking to her is way more interesting. Allie is the one who just smashes that veil of isolation to pieces. So it was Allie's very unique, very persistent way of talking that led to this really powerful idea the author calls the lighthouse effect. And honestly, this is the core concept we're going to unpack here. Now, listening to Allie wasn't always a walk in the park. Her chats were filled with what the author calls these nuggets of cosmic wisdom. At first, you'd have no idea what she was talking about, but it was always fascinating. And over time, her ideas, the things she kept repeating, they started to form a kind of pattern, like a rhythmic pulse that you just couldn't ignore. And this is the lighthouse effect. It's when you start to perceive a coded message inside a simple repeating signal. It's like a lighthouse beam that just cuts through all the fog and noise in your mind, whether your internal skies are clear or stormy. And it feels like that message is meant just for you. You can actually map out the author's whole journey here. It started with resistance, just trying to read a book in peace, but that turned into curiosity. And then pretty soon, this perception that there was a real coded message in what Ollie was saying. And that's when the reaction shifted from, what on earth is she talking about, to, whoa, wait, I need to think about that. So all of these conversations and all these repeated cosmic nuggets, they were all building toward one single, massive breakthrough moment, the one simple, powerful idea that made everything click into place. This was Allie's big question. This was the one she asked again and again and again. What playground are you playing in? I mean, it's a confusing question, right? Kind of comes out of left field. But this question, this was the key that unlocked the entire thing. Now, it's really important to get that this wasn't some sudden aha moment. It was a slow burn. It took a whole bunch of conversations with Allie, plus other books and meditations and everything else, for the real meaning of her lighthouse message to finally become crystal clear. And this was it. This was the profound realization. The playground, it was a metaphor for reality itself. We're the ones creating it. Every single moment, with our thoughts, with our consciousness. We actually get to choose the game we're playing. But it doesn't stop there. The second part of the message is just as brilliant, and it's this. Yeah, we create our own reality, but we'd better not take it all so seriously. The process of creating, of living, it's supposed to be filled with joy. We're supposed to have a bloody good laugh while we're doing it. So what do we take away from Allie and her little conscious cafe? Let's try and boil this whole story down into a few key things we can use in our own lives. Okay, first, start paying attention to the lighthouses in your own life. What are those simple repeating messages that just keep popping up for you? Maybe you've been ignoring them. Second, always remember you have the power to choose your playground, to consciously, intentionally shape your own reality. And finally, and this is a big one, don't forget to have a good laugh while you're doing it. And that really brings us to the final thought I want to leave you with. As you go about your day, just think about this. Who or what is the persistent beacon of light in your world? And maybe more importantly, what kind of reality, what kind of playground are you actively choosing to create for yourself right now, today?